As I've mentioned, having a steel blade on you at all times is like having your wallet on you at all times. It's a really critical piece of equipment. An incredible invention in human history to have steel blades. However, sometimes we lose knives, sometimes we're in situations where we weren't expecting to need a knife, we don't have it, and we still need a sharp edge. So I'm not going to get into lithics, particularly into a lot of flint knapping, but I would like to demonstrate how to break some rocks on each other and create some kind of a sharp edge. So the first thing we need to do is talk about what type of rock we should be using. These ones right here are an example of an extrusive igneous rock, meaning that they were born of lava and cooled really quickly. And these ones are called basalt. They're high in calcium and magnesium bearing properties. And the great thing about them is that because they were born in a fire, they can also be put back into a fire without exploding into a lot of shards. So basalt, which is on a lot of different mountains in the Southwest, is going to be something that we might consider using for hot rock boiling if we need to boil our water, and we'll demonstrate that at the fire a bit later. Another type of rock that we have out here is our sandstone, which is a type of sedimentary rock. And basically what's happened is that wind and water and ice caps have, pushed a lot of material from their original location to another location, and then over thousands of years, they've lithified, they've cemented and compacted, and over hundreds of millions of years, they've come into a form that we have here, like sandstone in this area. So in Utah in general, the sandstone that we find that is forming the cliffs in the area is actually from the Appalachian Mountains from, as I said, millions and millions of years ago. So it's pretty incredible to watch that development. Another type of sandstone is, another type of sedimentary rock to be noted is chert. And chert is sort of a general name for a really good type of rock that's easy to knap, to create blades from. And the reason is that it has a really high silica content. Another type of igneous rock that cools really rapidly, born of lava, is obsidian, but it is it's more glass-like, fractures in sort of this conchoidal shape that we really like for knapping. So it, like chert, which is of a sedimentary form, is really high in silica content. So it has a cryptocrystalline structure. Doesn't really matter. Anywho, so we've come across two different types of rock. Both have the ability to be knapped, but not in these two states. So my choice right now to bang some rocks together is actually going to be this rock right here, which is really, basically what you're looking for is a rock that's really high in quartzite. And it's a metamorphic rock. This rock is basically the sandstone, and somehow it's been chemically or altered or heat altered or whatever, broken down once again and then reamassed. So for our quartz, we basically have sandstone that's metamorphized into what we have here. This is a massive structure, a non-foliated structure, and the inside of it kind of looks sugary. And it likewise is going to break in this particular pattern that's going to give us flakes that have sharp edges. So some safety precautions. I always think it's a really good idea to have some kind of eyewear on whenever you're breaking rocks. Nice to be fully covered. In general, if people were watching me, I would have them stand behind me as opposed to in front of me. But crew here all has their safety glasses on as well, and we're just gonna hope I do a decent job at this. This is what we're gonna call our anvil. This is what I'm trying to hit against. And What you're looking for in general is sort of a rounded edge. This one's flat here, but I want it so that when I bang a rock like this on it, that it doesn't hit the ground. And so a nice kind of large rounded shape is what we're looking for in the anvil. In the core, which we're going to take the flake off of, we're looking for something that's fairly flat. And what I'm going to do, put my safety glasses on, go ahead and stand up, and I'm going for, you know, sort of the top, like even less than 1/2 of an inch. And I'm going to bang that on this. Maybe I can do this sitting if that's a better shot. So I'm going to give it a couple taps to see. No, I'm going to stand up. I really want to be kind of light with my arms. I want to find that edge. And when I'm ready, I think I've kind of got some consistency, break it. So that didn't quite work out. I actually ended up taking the whole top off versus just taking off a piece of the top. So let's try it again. One thing to note is this rock makes a pretty high pitch in comparison to this one, which is a little deeper. So this would be my choice. You're looking for higher pitched rocks. So what I'm looking to do is try and create a platform. There we go. So, let's see if we can find that other piece. That's okay. Anyways, I've done this correctly this time. I have a couple of flakes that came off. I don't know where the other half of this is. This one came off from here, and the other one came off. I don't know where it went, so we'll be careful. Good to always have shoes on. But what it's done is create a really sharp point and some really fine, narrow, thin edges, just like a blade. So I can do skinning work with this. I could certainly skin any type of little rodent, small game. You know, to be honest with you, a lot of them you can just peel off, but you have to get that first start nick somewhere down the belly or something, and something like this could do it. We also spoke a bit about hand sockets. And there was a question about how we get this hole for our spindle. And one thing that you can do is take the pointed end and you literally just start grinding away. You could use the tip of your knife, but if you have the opportunity not to use the tip of your knife, not to damage that blade, might as well use a rock instead. Once I've set that platform, so you have to know that this flake actually came off the top. My next strikes are going to be kind of like on the edge here or here. So that would be where I would aim for, one of those 2 points. And I could continue to produce conchoidal fractured pieces of rock, you know, that have sharp edges and oftentimes points at the tip. That's better. So we're getting these, you know, really fine. You can see it in the light there, can't you? Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's how thin the edge is. And then when you start to get into napping, what we can do is basically we need to take down that edge a little bit because it's too fragile right now. I mean, this could cut my hand easily, but if I try and work it against anything, it's going to break off. So we'll compact it a little bit and reshape it into the angle we want. Or you can use something like a piece of bone or antler and start pressure flaking at it and create saws and work designs into this. And ultimately you come out with arrowheads and knives and stone tools. It's quite a craft to be a really good flint knapper. It's something that I have obviously not achieved yet, though, you know, you just have to put your mind to these types of skills and enjoy the process of learning and experiencing how to get better at them.